I'm gonna just cut a piece so you can see that it actually rose. There we go. Look at that. It actually rose. No eggs. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today is part 3 of my journey to becoming plant-based. I'm going to be talking about why I stopped eating eggs and different replacements or substitutes that you can use for eggs. So I stopped eating red meat. It affected my skin. It affected my headaches. It affected my body's tolerance for other foods. Stopped eating dairy. Became lactose intolerant. Next on the list was eggs. This was the very first time in my life that I had a mental rejection to food. I never even thought that that was a thing. It's one thing to physically feel like I became lactose intolerant, to physically feel pain, but I never thought I would get to the point where my brain is like, even if I'm trying to eat something, my brain is like, no. So that's what happened with me and eggs. At this point, we had about February, March of 2020. It just happened out the blue, if we're being honest. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know how I feel about breakfast foods. It was one of those times, it was about probably like 6 o'clock at night. I was hungry, so I made some breakfast. I'm making my breakfast, waffles, pancakes, whatever it was. And when it came time to the eggs, all that's going through my mind, hey, I have eggs. Now, I don't lay eggs, but I have eggs. And I was like, damn, what if somebody took my egg and scrambled it? What if somebody took one of my eggs and just cracked it open and sprinkled some salt and pepper on it? That's kind of weird. That's kind of strange. Imagine eating a human egg. Is that not strange? That's what's going through my head at this point. And that was enough for me to, again, I'm like, but they taste so good. But it was just like, baby, imagine somebody eating your eggs. That's all that was going through my head. What if somebody ate my egg? What if somebody cracked my shit open and put some salt and pepper on it? That was kind of quick as far as like me just not eating eggs. Once that thought like moved into my brain, it wasn't no eviction. It wasn't no kicking it out. Like it was just there. And I couldn't really, so that was that. But also something that I found out as of lately, like just within the past year, is that eggs are used in scientific experiments to incubate viruses. So they use the eggs to house the viruses that they're trying to study. So if these eggs hold viruses, they create the perfect environment for viruses to grow and thrive and multiply. Imagine what it's doing inside of your body. Imagine how many viruses it's holding and helping to grow and providing the perfect environment to grow when you eat it. That's just a food for thought. But next chapter. So, different egg replacements for baking. Your replacement is going to depend on what part of the egg you were using. So using the entire egg versus just the egg white is not going to be the same type of substitute. But overall, if you were using eggs in your baking recipes for the rising properties that it gives to like cakes and breads and stuff like that, like giving it that airy, the fluffiness and helping it rise, what you can use instead is a combination of baking soda and lemon juice. So baking soda and lemon juice create the same fluffy, airy consistency or texture in baked goods, and they also help the baked goods to rise. I literally just made cornbread this week with this as a substitute, and it rose. And it looks great, actually. I kind of want to go get it. Let me go grab that. So it's the end of the week. We've been eating off this joint. So, she a little ran through. It hit. But I'm going to just cut a piece so you can see that it actually rose. You see, it got thickness to it. It rose. It's not super flat. Like, let me cut another piece. Whoa, that's a better view. There we go. Look at that. It actually rose. No eggs. All I used was baking soda and lemon juice. So when it comes to stuff like this, when you have flour, let me go put this back. When it comes to you using the egg replacement for baking with foods that contain flour, for every 1 cup of flour, you're going to use a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda and a 1/2 teaspoon of lemon juice. So get your mixture together, whatever it is. So for like my cornbread, for example, I put all my cornbread ingredients together And the very last thing I did before I put it in the oven, in a separate bowl, I mixed the baking soda and lemon juice together. It's gonna fizz and bubble up. You just mix it in and then pour it into your mixture, and then take a whisk or a spoon or something and just make sure it's evenly distributed. And bake it as you normally would, and you're good to go. Now, if you were using eggs in baking for the structure that it gives, your best substitute would be something like a chia egg or a flax egg. If y'all want me to make a tutorial on how to make either one of those, let me know in the comment section. I could definitely make that happen. But when you combine chia seeds or flax seeds with water, they get really thick and they stick together. So using a flax or a chia egg in place of your eggs in baking can still give you the structure that a chicken egg would give you. But I believe it's a 1-to-1 sub of like a flax egg or a chia egg to a chicken egg, and that'll help you with structure when it comes to baking. And then when it comes to egg whites, what I've seen, and I have utilized it before, aquafaba. Aquafaba can work as a egg white replacement. Aquafaba is literally chickpea water. So you would make your own aquafaba. I don't know if they have it for sale, but you would make your own aquafaba by getting dried chickpeas. Essentially boil the chickpeas. So you're going to cover the chickpeas in a pot with water, cover them, and then boil the water. Strain the chickpeas, but keep the water. So don't like strain the water into the sink. Strain the water into another pot or another bowl and keep that and refrigerate it. And when you refrigerate it, you'll see the next day it'll get like thick in consistency. It's really weird. I don't know how to explain it. I can make it again. If you want me to make a tutorial, let me know in the comments. I will make one. It's like really thick and kind of jelly like. It's kind of like egg whites, but it's like a thicker, like it's not as loose and flowy as egg whites. But I mean, yeah, the egg white. But when you whip that, like with the cake mixer, it becomes literally like light and fluffy meringue. That's what I was thinking about, meringue. So whipping aquafaba gives you the same exact consistency as a meringue would. Now, when it comes to flavor, you're gonna have to experiment with that, because chickpeas are not sweet. So if you're using this for desserts, you know, the aquafaba works just as egg whites would when creating that like whipped, fluffy meringue type of consistency that people use in baking. Now, when it comes to replacing eggs for breakfast, we know Bree loves breakfast. I made my own chickpea eggs, and I put the recipe for that in my plant-based eating for beginners ebook. Yes, making chickpea eggs is pretty simple, but it's all about seasoning. If you don't have the right seasoning, it's not going to give you that eggy taste that you're looking for when it comes to replacing it in your breakfast dishes. I use those chickpea eggs to make like a scramble and an omelet. So I will add vegetables like spinach and tomatoes and onions and mushrooms, everything that I would used to eat in omelets. I also make in my chickpea eggs and do it that way, whether I'm scrambling it or omeleting it. I've also tried using mung beans to make my own egg replacement. Mung beans is actually what's used in Just Egg, but the consistency was really weird. Like it was something I can't really get jiggy with. Even when it comes to chickpea eggs don't feel like scrambled eggs, but they taste good. They taste like it. But the mung beans, it was like the taste was like, I could have got jiggy with the taste, but the consistency, it was just like a hard no. And that's how I know like Just Egg is super duper processed. I started off eating Just Egg when I was like freshly vegan, but again, I've switched from vegan to plant-based, and I'm just working on making my own stuff with whole food ingredients. And the way, like if you ever tried to make your own mung bean scrambled eggs, just looking at that and how Just Egg behaves, you know they got so much. I don't even know, like it's two completely different things. But all in all, mung beans are an option if you're open to experimentation. The last thing you could use as a replacement for eggs and breakfast is ackee. Ackee is a fruit. I don't know if it's native to Jamaica. I know it grows in Jamaica. I was just there in August and I saw them growing off the trees. Our tour guide pointed it out. Ackee is a fruit. It literally feels like eggs. Now that's the thing I will say about ackee. The chickpea scramble, you can really make it taste like eggs, but it don't feel like eggs. Ackee feels like scrambled eggs. And again, it's all in the seasoning. So if you do have an international market near you, or you have access to ackee, the same seasoning blend used in my plant-based eating for beginners ebook for my chickpea eggs will work beautifully for that. But that's the best consistency replica or replacement for eggs when it comes to breakfast, for scrambled eggs when it comes to breakfast. I don't really think you can omelet that, but the chickpea eggs are the best when it comes to tasting and omeleting. Okay, now to the nitty gritty, the part that people always say they eat eggs for, the protein. Like I said in my last video, there are so many sources of plant-based protein. The best one, if you ask me, in my opinion, is hemp. Hemp has the perfect amino acid ratio needed for the body to build proteins. If you are making eggs for the protein content, this is where, like, my chickpea recipe would be the best option, because you have to add water to that. So what you could do is, instead of using plain water, make an unsweetened hemp milk and use that as your water. Now you're getting all the protein you need, plus you still got the taste of the eggs that, you know, when it comes to omelet, you can make an omelet, you can scramble it. That's the best way to get some type of protein. But even when it comes to bacon, flax and chia have protein in them. I believe chia is a complete source of protein with all non-essential amino acids needed as well. It doesn't have as much protein as hemp, but it is a source of protein. I encourage everybody to go look up what a protein is, because that's one of those things people, oh, I need my protein. I can't stop eating this, and that because I need my protein, but don't know what a protein is. Protein is in every single food. There's different quantities of different amino acids in each food, but being plant-based, learning how to pair your foods, that's not going to be an issue for you. And that's something I address in my plant-based nutrient guide ebook. I will link this in the description as well. People make the whole protein thing so much more complicated than it needs to be. When in doubt, grab hemp seeds. I'll link the hemp seeds I get in the description box. I get them in 5 pounds at a time because I use them so often. And hemp seeds actually helped me put weight back on once I lost my weight. And that's a great way to usher into what my next video is going to be about. The next food I ended up cutting out made me drop 20 pounds. Honestly, I think it was 30. 20 to 30 pounds. Drastically improved my hormonal health. And this was all off of one cut. So if you're interested in eating more plant-based foods for weight loss or improving your hormonal health, you definitely want to make sure you subscribe to see my next video, because that's the heaviest hit out of the entire journey, is the next food. But once I lost all my weight, hemp is one of the things that helped me gain it back. And now I'm up 15 pounds since I lost all my weight. So, but yeah, that's quick, simple egg replacements for baking, egg replacements for breakfast, and why I stopped eating eggs. Part 4 of my plant-based journey will be up next Friday. Make sure you like this video if you found it helpful or useful in any way. If you want me to make a tutorial on how to make any of the egg substitutes mentioned in this video, please let me know in the comments. I will get that done. Once you try them, let me know how it goes.